Hey beautiful, what's up? It's that time of the year where it's Halloween, and as you can see I have no eyebrows and I look super scary, but I went ahead and glued down my eyebrows. I will link a separate tutorial like from another YouTuber down below if you don't know how to glue down your eyebrows. And what I'm doing right now is I took some yellow and white paint, mixed it together, and now I'm just painting that on my face. I'm just painting around my eyes, my eyebrows, and I'm also painting like along my jawline. Now I'm just going in with some black eyeliner pencil and I'm sketching out the holes of the skull around the eyes. As you can see, I'm just feeling where the bone is underneath my eyes so that it can be a little bit easier. All I have to do is trace along that line. For this look, I wanted the skull to look like it's angry, like it's frowning. So I went ahead and followed underneath my eyebrows. Most eyebrows have that natural curve, so I used that curve as the top of my eyes for the skull instead of perfectly round circles for the eyes. It will just add to the effect of looking angry. Okay, so now I'm just taking that yellow and white paint mix and I'm just filling in all the gaps, and I'm also doing another layer around some of the areas of my face. The reason why I'm using white and yellow paint mix is because I want my skull to look like it has different textures and tones as opposed to just pure white. I want to go for a very old looking skull. As I go along this video, every time I put on the white paint, I add less yellow. Moving on to this purple eyeshadow, it's so cool toned that it kind of pulls off a greyish undertone, and that's exactly what I want because I actually want it to perform like a shadow. And I'm just applying this into my crease with a fluffy brush, and I'm being kind of messy with it. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to be blending different shades on top and all around the eyes. Now I'm just picking up some of this cranberry shadow, and I'm just throwing this into my crease and putting it underneath that purple shade, and I will not be blending this shade further up. This cranberry shade and that cool toned purple mixed together is just deadly vibes. I go ahead and take that first purple cool toned grey shade and then I just add some of that underneath my eyes. Moving on to this black eyeshadow, and I'm just placing this on top of my eyelids right underneath the crease shade. The black eyeshadow is from a palette called I Think I Love You from Colourpop. I did a mini haul video on this and have a full review. I will also link that in the description. Also adding the black shadow underneath my eyes as close to the lash line as possible. And then I'm just adding some black eyeliner to the waterline. Then moving back onto the cranberry shade that I used in the crease, and I'm just applying that underneath my eyes. I'm basically repeating what I did on the top of my eyes to the bottom of my eyes. Then I'm just deepening everything up with that purple grey toned eyeshadow, and I'm taking this quite close to the edges as well. Going back to that black shade, I'm taking this all around the edges and I'm blending all the colours together. Having the purple and the cranberry shade as opposed to just having black creates a lot of dimension in the eyes. I want to add a little pop on my eyes, so I'm taking this metallic purple liner and I'm just drawing a very thin line on top of my lashes. And now we're finally onto my favorite part, which is the teeth. So I started off with a black liner to draw on my teeth, but then I realized that was too thick, so I used a very thin brush and I used black eyeshadow to sketch out the teeth. I wanted the top teeth to be a lot bigger than the bottom teeth. I wanted the teeth to be really big, almost like the first thing you see when you look at the skull. So I went ahead and I felt around my face to where I could feel my last tooth, and that's where I drew the line. It doesn't matter if your lines aren't even, or if they're wonky, or if the space between the teeth are a different size on the sides. Now I'm just mapping out how long I want the teeth to be, and I do this by drawing little points at the end of each tooth. I do this for the top and bottom row. I go ahead and fill in my teeth with pure white paint, not that yellow white paint that I use at the start of the video. Oh, and by the way guys, the paint that I'm using is not a full coverage paint, so I have to do a couple of layers. I don't really know what this part of the skull is called, so I'm just going to call it the top jawline, and I'm sketching that out with some black liner. And I kind of screwed up on the other side, but it's okay because I went in and fixed it with some white paint. Now I'm just going to paint up to the edges of my face, and I'm also going over some of the areas that I first painted. I'm using sort of stippling motions to do this. This isn't a pure white paint, I did mix some yellow in this to create a off-white colour, more like a bone shade. And I also paint all over my chin area. I also use a liner brush to use some white paint to get right in between the teeth. And I'm basically painting where there is no paint near the teeth. I now begin to shape and define my teeth. I take some black eyeshadow and I put it in between the lines just by lightly shading it. I also put it in the space in between my lips so that when I open my mouth and start talking, you can't see any flash, you can only see black. Just fixing some of the teeth with white paint because the black shadow went too far down. Now I'm going to be defining the top jawline by shading it with black eyeshadow. Now I'm just redefining the tops of my teeth. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to be smudging these lines out. Moving on to the most important part, which is shading around the teeth and some places on the teeth. It's very important to do this because it takes your teeth from looking like little weird squares to making it look kind of 3D. Using black shadow on a pencil brush, I'm just lightly feathering in between the teeth. It's important that you don't use too much pressure on your brush because we want it to look like a shadow. I want my teeth to look really old and broken, so I'm just doing some extra shading on the outside perimeter of the top and bottom row. The look is starting to come together. I'm starting to look really dead and really scary, and I love it. When I'm shading around the top and bottom of my teeth, I'm making sure to fade it up, like sort of blend it up so it's like a nice gradient. I dipped my blending brush so lightly, I mean just like a little tap into the black eyeshadow, and now I'm just blending it above my teeth and underneath my teeth to create more of a gradient. I'm using small circular motions to do this. It looks insane. If I could dress like this every day, I probably would. This is just so me. I know it doesn't really look like it at the moment, but at this point I was so happy on the inside because the vision was coming to life. Using some black shadow on a thin brush, I am just making these weird lines. I wanted more emphasis on the teeth, and I thought it would look really cool if I would shade all around it. When I was looking at my teeth, I thought there was something missing, so I went in with a matte black liquid liner and I just went over the lines of my teeth. This honestly made such a difference. Like you can just see it in the video. I also made the line in between my top and bottom teeth more wide so that it looks like there is more space in between them. I'm going in with this grey eyeshadow And now I'm shading in the back of my teeth so that the front of my teeth can stand out more. This also adds to the old vibe that I'm going for, and it adds to the 3D effect. Then after that, I'm taking some white paint and I'm highlighting my face in the high points, and I'm using stippling motions with my paintbrush. As I'm doing this, the paintbrush leaves marks on my face, which I really liked because it makes it look really old and textured. I am using a very small, thin brush, and I'm using black paint, and I'm just drawing along the very edges of my eyes. And then I'm also setting it and blending it with some black eyeshadow. I want the very edges of my eyes to be as dark as possible so that the contrast is very apparent. Using the same brush and black paint, I'm going over my top jawline and lower jawline, the two lines that we created. I'm making sure that the top jawline is a lot thicker, darker, and more bolder looking than the bottom jawline because I'm going to be doing a lot more shading along the top. Oh my god, I almost forgot to draw on my nose. So I just took some black shadow, I'm just shading in my nose, and then I take some black gel liner, and then I'm basically making the shape of the sides of my nose. Then I go ahead and fill it in with some black shadow and black paint. So I want it to be as dark as possible. Now onto the tricky part of drawing the nose. I don't really know how to describe this. The only way I can really describe it is if you think of a water droplet. Instead of having one point at the top, you have two. And I'm just using liquid eyeliner to make those 2 points at the top, but I'm making one side a little bit longer than the other. I went ahead and used some black paint to cover the sides of my jaw, as well as I covered my entire ears. After that, I quickly took some black eyeliner and I went over my eyes once again. Now I begin the shading process of the jaw. So I'm just taking some black shadow and I'm just running that along the space in between the jawline and the teeth. I want it to look a little bit grey. And I'm also shading underneath the jawline and really smoking everything out. I love the shading part because it just makes everything look very spooky. And along the sides of my jaw, I want it to go from being very black to just faded out and fade into that white. So I'm just contouring underneath my chin with some black paint. And then I bring the paint up onto my chin and I make sort of a triangle shape, but I make the center of the triangle very opaque and the sides of the triangle just faded and grayish. Now I'm going to be doing some detailed work on the teeth, so I'm just using some black eyeliner and I'm creating flicks in between the teeth. The 2 flicks in the middle of the teeth I want to be the longest, and the one on the bottom I want to be really long, almost touching the triangle that we created on our chin. The flicks just made the look so bomb and so amazing. It was just like a really nice touch. In between some of the teeth, I flick it in a different direction, whereas some of the other ones, I just flick it straight upwards. Honestly, it doesn't matter because it's gonna look good anyways. I'm using the same eyeliner and I'm creating some cracks on my teeth. I don't do this for every tooth. Like I might skip a couple teeth here and there. And also the cracks I make sure aren't exactly in the middle of the tooth, because I want it to look like it's actually cracking like from the sides. I'm just using that same purple eyeliner that I used on my eyes now to create some random cracks on my teeth. And then I use that same eyeliner to create some random flicks on my nose. I go in between black eyeliner and the purple eyeliner to create these flicks, just to make sure that the lines are very thin. When I think of a skull, the first thing that I think of are the teeth, the eyes, and then the nose. So that's why I'm using the color purple to tie in these features together. I went ahead and shaded in my hairline with some black paint, and then straight after that I drew on some white eyebrows because it adds to the effect of being angry, and then I just shaded down my neck. For my neck, I just drew a white square, and I'm going to let it dry and come back to that later. In the meantime, I'm going to start working on shading and the frowning of the skull. So the first thing that I do is I grab some black eyeshadow on a blending brush, and I'm just mapping out where I want the frowning lines to be. I'm also shading in certain areas of my forehead, and I'm really just blending this out so that it looks very soft. Then after that, I grab a pencil brush and I build up those frown lines, and I'm making sure that one of the lines is much longer than the other because I want these lines to represent actual wrinkles that you have when you frown. I wanted to add a crack on my forehead, so I just sketched out a lightning bolt, and when I was happy with it, I shaded it in and made it darker, and then I blended all around. After that, I wanted to add a eye bag underneath my eye, so I just sketched out a shape following along the circle underneath. When I was happy with the shape, I went ahead and shaded it in to make it darker, and then I also cleaned it up by adding some white paint. I took some black paint and I'm just painting this on my chest and my shoulder area. And I'm kind of being really messy with it, making sure to leave brush strokes. The same thing that I did on my nose, that's what I'm doing on my neck. So I just got the purple liner, I did some flicks, and then I went ahead and used the black and did some flicks. I wet my hair and then I slicked it back with a little bit of gel. And now I'm applying some glitter to my hair. First I went in with some purple and then I went in with some silver. At first I was sort of just like, I'll just add a little bit of glitter here and there. But then I dropped the little glitter pot. So I just went ham with the glitter. There was just so much glitter in my hair. Look at this spooky angry skull. I got some good shots of this angry skull that I'm going to be posting on my Instagram, so make sure to follow me on there. It's just at @KajelJessie. This look came out so much better than I thought it would. What did you guys think of this look? Would you wear this? And what did you even dress up as for Halloween? And go ahead and smash that like button and be sure to subscribe to see more videos from me. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!